All right, everybody, welcome to Two Top Sports. It's time for the Week 3 power rankings for the NFL. How you doing today, Mario?
Doing good. What about you, John?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm ready to talk some football. I mean, I think our power rankings, our top 5 is going to look different. I've been doing this for like a year now, and it looks totally different than what it's ever looked like. So we definitely got some new teams and some things happening. Okay, coming in at number 5 is going to be the Saints. Well,
Woo!
yeah, I mean, they are just, I think they've scored like 90 something points already.
And this
Um,
15 straight drives.
right. I mean, and I think the biggest, for one thing, they got a Kubiak as their offensive coordinator who took over this year.
Mm-hmm.
And, and he's part of that West Coast system that Green Bay runs, that San Francisco runs, and that's just, I mean, a lot of the good teams run that system. I did notice, I mean, they whipped up on Dallas. I mean,
Spanking them, beat them down.
and their Dallas's defense was so good in week 1 and they were pressuring the quarterback, but they neutralized that. They ran 39 times compared to 16 passes is
Mm-hmm.
what the Saints done. So they just ran it down their throat. And then when you do that, that neutralizes all of your pass rushers because I mean, they don't know when to pass rush. They're worried about that run, and they're getting beat down. What do you think about that?
Saints come up with a great game plan lately. Cause the Cowboys, they run defense not too all too good lately, but they pass
Mm-hmm.
are good. But once you start running the football on them and you play action, they'll be vulnerable. I know I saw Michael Parsons say it's a team effort. Like all of them play on the field, they were not a team effort. It's not by one person. They all just slack off of it. I think the Saints they just a good team right now. They built right. Derek Carr, he
Yeah.
looked more confident where he was. Eric Kamara run the football better. They
Mm-hmm.
got good receivers. They defense still top 10. So
Mm-hmm.
the Saints looking real good right now. They danger right now. But
Right.
not
And I agree.
I'm not
I
really
mean,
surprised.
what's that?
I'm not really surprised that they so good. I'm surprised at how much
Mm-hmm.
they're scoring though, but not how
Yeah.
good it is.
Well, they running the ball like crazy. And if you look at what Dallas has struggled with the last few years, they've always they got beat by Green Bay in the playoffs last year. It runs the same offensive system. They
Mm-hmm.
always struggle with San Francisco, who
Yep.
runs the same offensive system.
They
I
dominate there.
mean, it's all about the running game. I think for New Orleans, even because Derek Carr, he don't have bad numbers, but he ain't blown it up either. So they got Kamara, I think, in New Orleans,
Mm-hmm.
exceptional running back. I mean, they just really are.
He can run
They're
and
play,
catch.
yeah, they're playing good. Okay, coming in at number 4, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Ooh, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Mario?
I'm not surprised because the Buccaneers they was on the come up last year and their defense still good on the Ty Boys. I think their head coach right, Ty Boys.
Right.
He got those two wide receivers, Chris Godwin. He still got Mike Evans and Baker. He just bought crib back to life. He left the Browns and he looking like a totally different quarterback. He probably always been like this. He's just in a bad
Yeah.
organization, which is the Browns. But
Yeah, or a bad system, I mean.
yeah, but the battle between them and the Saints this year for that division, like last year, the NFC South was trash, but this year, they look
Hmm.
like one of the best division, the NFC.
And I was thinking that earlier because Atlanta, they ain't no joke. They
Yep,
got great
yep.
running backs. I mean, they can run the ball. They got Cousins as quarterback. I mean, this allowed to be one of the best NFC divisions as far as balance goes.
Man,
Um,
it way different last year. Like the turnaround is crazy.
yeah, and in Tampa Bay, they were building to this point, and I think they, like you said, I think they have a great coach, and Todd Bowles, and sometimes if you're a defensive coach, you need to get somebody to work with that quarterback and just step back and let them do it. Focus
True.
on coaching the team and coaching the defense. And I think that's what they're doing. I think that's what they're doing in New Orleans too. Because Dennis Allen was on the hot list to be fired in the
He sure
beginning of the
will.
season.
We ain't talking about it no
But
more.
yeah, now all of a sudden he hired a good offensive coordinator and now look at him because they
He might
always had a
be coach of
decent
the year.
defense.
He might be coach of the year now.
He
Keep
could
on.
be if they keep going. All right, so coming in at number 3 is your Buffalo Bills.
Been impressive so far. They've been very impressive.
Right.
Josh Allen, man, he just MVP worthy. He just like he can run, pass. It doesn't matter who the receivers is. He just get it done. The defense still
Mm-hmm.
look good. The coach, he made the right calls. I mean, Buffalo gonna be hard out this year. I mean, they looking like they make it to the AFC Championship game. I might have to change my pick from the Jets because I ain't not expect Buffalo to get like this, man. I really thought they're gonna take a step down what Stephon did with Josh Allen, but I was wrong. Dang, he taking a
You
step
know,
forward.
and a lot of times, I ain't saying that Diggs ain't good now, but a lot of times that trigger man, that quarterback, that leader. I think that whole team plays hard for Josh Allen.
Oh, they
And
do.
to me, and there's already talk for him for MVP. And to me, he's like a perfect candidate
Oh,
because, who means the most to their team?
oh,
Is what it ain't stats. It ain't supposed to be anyway. A lot of times a player will win because of stats, but who really means the most to their team? Who do they fight for? Who? And I think that offense will run through a wall for Josh Allen.
that crowd.
And
The crowd be going
and
crazy.
that crowd, and they have the right a market for that type, the blue collar, do my job, work hard. I think there's a lot of respect for that in that environment. But I mean, Josh Allen, he's definitely a candidate. Stephon Diggs, he's gone, but I mean, somebody next man up, somebody's stepping in and they're doing it, and their defense has always been legitimate the last few years.
True.
So like you said, I mean, they're going to be a tough out. And last year they struggled in the beginning. I don't remember what their record was the first 5 or 6 games, but I think it was
Yeah,
like
they did
2-4 or
last year.
something.
Yeah.
They did come back and win the division, but in this year they're just starting off from the get go because I think they thought about that last year and they want to get in that situation again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really like Buffalo. What do you
I
think
believe they
about
want home field advantage.
what's that?
I believe they want home field advantage. I think they want to go through
Yeah,
Buffalo in that cold.
yeah. And what do you think about? Do you think the Buffalo Miami matchup is done?
Yeah,
Because
Miami, they without tour and where he looking concussion.
hmm
If he come back with all the concussion that he having, I think
hmm
Miami they're gonna look for another quarterback soon. And I hate to see that for them because they were doing so good. They ain't having
Yeah.
good quarterbacks in Dan Marino. It's
hmm
just hard for them.
Yeah, and I kind of agree because that Buffalo's always their bugaboo, and if they start losing, I mean they got Andy Dalton that's going to be their quarterback now. We'll see how he does. He's been good at times, but yeah, I think Miami ain't going to knock them out of that division this year.
I don't think they're gonna make
So
the playoffs now.
yeah, and we'll revisit your pick of the Jets to win that division later on the season. It's only 2 games in, so we're not going to sell Aaron Rodgers and the Jets out yet. Okay, number 2 is the Houston Texans.
Ooh, they hot. They are hot with CJ Stroud. Stephon Diggs in the right situation because he in a situation where he got a young quarterback. He gonna be in ear too much like he was with Josh Allen. I think he gonna
Mm-hmm.
be more of a leadership stand, but he got other wide receivers like DeMarco Collins. He got that running
Right.
back missing. He got a good defense. He got a great head
Mm-hmm.
coach. And CJ Stroud, he might be the rival to Patrick Mahomes. I said that last time, but he really like a rival. They gonna come up. He really come out of nowhere because nobody
Yeah.
knew from the draft that he gonna be like this.
Right. And he's a different type of quarterback, I think, than like Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, even though he's got all the athletic ability, I think Patrick Mahomes is like a cerebral quarterback.
Yeah,
He really understands situations, understands the game. But I was watching that game the other day. What impressed me, one thing, CJ Stroud, he can make every throw.
he's okay.
He's an exceptional quarterback, and he don't run a lot. He tries to come out, play from the pocket, and pass his way to success. And I like that. I don't like because a lot of these young quarterbacks they get happy feet and they're running too much, and then you know what happens if you start running too much.
He don't get sacked a lot. He avoid sacks.
Right, and they have an exceptional roster. And I mean, offense, defensively, they got enough. guys on the defensive side because the other day they don't blitz very much normally, but
No.
they totally adjusted for that Chicago game and they blitzed. They normally blitz like 35-40% of the time, but they were blitzing. I think they blitzed like 70% of the time, and they
Ooh.
sacked Caleb Williams, 7 times, and you sack a quarterback 7 times. I'm surprised. I think that's a credit to Chicago's defense. They even stayed in the game after
You
getting
right about that.
sacked. And, I mean, because they were right there where they could have made a big play or two and actually won that game. But I think Houston's got a great coach. They adjusted. Even though they don't normally blitz, they changed their game plan for
They know
Caleb
what to do when he's
Williams.
shaking. They know he's shaking that
And
pocket. It's
right. And they shook him up. All right. So number one is the Kansas City Chiefs. Why can't we get them off there?
Hey, the baby goat. He ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. I mean, so what'd you think about that game? The
Cincinnati played
Cincinnati
way
game.
better. Yeah, they played way better. Everybody talking about there wasn't PI, but they're most definitely PI. You just can't hit no receiver for the ball get there. And I think they should
Mm-hmm.
let the game play out because of the last moment of the game. But if it's a foul, I mean it's a flag, call it. I seen a lot of time referee call a flag in the game. If it's there, call it. Because sometimes when you really
Mm-hmm.
want to be called, they don't call it. Then you talk about it. People make all a big deal about it. But
Right.
Cincinnati play good, but Kansas City just know how to win ball game. Whether they blowing people out or they're close, they got a Hall of Fame coach, Hall of Fame
Mm-hmm.
quarterback. They just ran the right way and they built the right way. They
Right.
champion. They champion DNA.
And they are having a few injury issues. I saw they got Lamar Hunt coming back as a running back. Pacheco is going to be out probably 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, they say he got a broken fibula or something like a
He's got a
crack.
fractured fibula. It's not completely broke, but
Yeah,
it's broke enough. He's going to be out, and he had surgery. So and they said everything went good.
yeah, he
And
runs.
then you still got Hollywood that hasn't showed up yet, and I think he's going to be out 4 or 5 more weeks, maybe. But so I think they're going to be stronger in the future. But and Patrick Mahomes, he's going to test you if it's a close game towards the end. He's going to make the throws to test your defense,
He sure
and
is.
you better play him right because that to me that throw that they got the foul on towards the end of the game, it was an obvious foul. It wasn't something marginal. He hit that receiver a good 2 seconds before the ball even got there, and that's just too early. I mean,
He can see it coming. He can see them
yeah.
foul.
Right. Even Stevie Wonder would call that throw that
Oh
flag.
yeah, man.
So people are going to complain that, Kansas City, the referees and stuff like that. But, and the Kansas City's been on top of our power rankings since it started. And I kind of believe, and I think you agree, until Kansas City loses, we're not taking them off number one spot
No,
because they're the Super Bowl champions. I mean,
2
so,
times.
right. So, well, that's our power rankings. Thank y'all for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.